Okay, here is problem number 4. So a coffee can is 5 inches tall. Given the total surface area is the same as the volume, find the lateral area. So first I'm just going to draw a picture. Coffee can. Coffee cans are cylinders. Cans are cylinders. Okay. And then I know the height is going to be 5 inches tall. Given the total surface area is the same as the volume. So now I want to dissect that because now if it's the same, I can set up an equation and set them equal to each other. So the total surface area of a cylinder is those two circles and that lateral area. So I'm going to write an equation for that. So two circles, so 2 times the area of a circle is pi r squared. And then I'm going to add the area of the lateral, or the lateral area. If I think about a can, unwrapping that label is a rectangle. So the rectangle of that is still going to have a height of 5 inches. And then the width of it, or the base, is going to be the circumference of my circle. So circumference of a circle is 2 pi r since I don't know the radius. So if I multiply those together, I'm going to get 10 pi r. And then just for simplicity, since I know I have two circles, I'm just going to write 2 pi r squared plus 10 pi r. Okay, so that's my total surface area. Now I know that that's going to be the same as volume. So the volume of anything really is the area of the base. Actually, I could write that a different way. Area of base times height. And in this case, my area of my base is going to be the area of a circle. So pi r squared times my height, which I know was 5. So now I know that this equals 5 pi r squared. Okay, so if I look at this, I technically only have one variable, and that's the radius. So I'm going to set this equal to 0. And when I do that, I get negative 3 pi r squared. I can add these together because they're like terms. They have the same variable and the same exponent. Remembering that pi is not a variable. It's just an irrational number. Okay, so since it's an irrational number, I could technically factor this. I could divide both sides by pi to get rid of that. And I'd be left with negative 3r squared plus 10r equals 0. Then I'm going to factor out my greatest common factor is that negative r, so 3r minus 10 equals 0. And this is really helping me solve for my radius. So negative radius equals 0, and then 3r minus 10 equals 0. I'm going to solve each one. And then my decision making. It doesn't make sense to have a radius of 0. I can have a positive radius, so that is fine. So now I know that my radius of my circle is 10/3. I want to go back to the problem to make sure I'm answering the question. So it said find the lateral area. So the lateral area is exactly what I set up here. It's just the area between the two bases. So now I know that's 2 pi r times 5. I'm going to change my colors. Lateral area equals the circumference of my circle, so 2 pi, and then we just found my radius is 10/3. and then times my height, which was 5. So if I multiply that all together, 5,100 over 3 pi. And then if I think about my units, that was an area, so inches squared.